Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be playing in the global tournament. So the Royale tournament is underway. It did start about a couple of days ago, I believe, and so we're going to be playing in the global tournament using 3.0 Xbow Cycle as usual. So I am currently 10-0 on this account, and 12-0 on another one of my accounts. We're going to be playing on this one today, trying to get 5 nice wins, get up to 15 wins to unlock all of the rewards in the global tournament. So I have been working on uploading my global tournament videos earlier on in the tourney as opposed to later on. As you can see, there are still over 3 days left, so plenty of time left in the tournament, and I did get a bunch of comments on some of my older videos asking why I was uploading my global tourney videos pretty late, like after the tournament was over, since you guys did want to see gameplay while the tournament was still going on, so that you could watch it first and then play yourself, which is understandable. So continuing that trend, hopefully it helps you guys as well, and we are going to be playing some nice games today. So we are back with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, and I'm going to be answering some common questions before we get into it, because almost every single video I get these questions. So the first one, I'm also going to keep it pretty simple, but the first one is Electro Spirit over Ice Spirit, and so my personal opinion is that Electro Spirit is just very much better in the meta right now, like at least 2 times better than the Ice Spirit because of a lot of reasons, mainly Skeleton King decks, bait decks, and also just some synergies like Electro Spirit plus Log, being able to clip through and take out some troops like a bomber or archers, just interactions like those, also better against Graveyard, and there's just no real reason to use Ice Spirit right now, which is why pretty much every single Xbow player is playing it with Electro Spirit right now. Second question is Archers versus Archer Queen, and I'm going to keep it pretty simple. Archer Queen is just way better in every single way. The only way it's worse is the elixir cost, making the deck more clunky and more expensive, but it's offset by her insane defensive ability, and also just her overall ability itself, like the nuke when it goes invisible and just destroys anything in a matter of seconds. So also the 3-card cycle. There are just many more reasons that Archer Queen's better than Archers right now, but I do understand that a lot of you guys did play Xbow because it's a free-to-play deck. 3.0 Xbow Cycle has all common and rare cards with the exception of the Xbow, which is an epic, and so Archer Queen is obviously a champion, so you might not have access to the Archer Queen or resources to level her up, and so I'm going to be playing with Archers. I do also prefer them myself anyways, and so we're going to be playing with 3.0 Xbow Cycle. I will probably play with Archer Queen on another account, but I know a lot of you guys still play with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, so I'm going to keep it up. And also, I did get some comments in my last Royale tournament video asking for a second part, so, I'm going to be getting to 15 wins, but some people asked for another video after that point, for example, 15 wins to 20 wins. So let me know if you'd be interested in a second video following up this one. I don't think I should do it all in one go, because it would be a pretty long video, and I've done some pretty long videos already, but yeah, let me know if you'd enjoy that as well. But relatively long intro, let's get right into things with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, 10-0 right now. Let's hope we can get a nice win streak and get into the matches, and we are in the first game against P.E.K.K.A. Also, in my last Royal Tournament video, I did go against Royal Hogs Earthquake Cycle 2 times in a row at the start, so hopefully we don't get met with the same unlucky fate. And we are against Minor Fire Spirit, which is looking like it's going to be a minor control deck with probably Rocket. So we're going to go for an Xbow with these Archers counter pushing, and Guards come down, Log comes down. I'm going to go E-Spirit to predict maybe a Tesla, as Valkyrie also comes down. So I'm going to go for a Knight, again, to catch any Tesla or building coming down. He goes for a Miner, going to try and predict it with Skeletons. Looks like we don't get the prediction. But Skeletons do still take out the Miner, and Knight is going to be counter-pushing alongside the Skeletons. Archer Queen is forced out. I think I am just going to Fireball this Archer Queen, and then I can log it afterwards. So it's going to be Miner, I believe, Miner Mortar possibly, or just Miner, yeah, there's the Mortar. Could also just be Miner Control maybe. But, well, I was in the middle of finishing that thought, and the Mortar came down, so it's obviously going to be Mortar now. But this is going to be a pretty bad matchup, actually, I would say, especially because of the Archer Queen. Minor Mortar decks usually counter Xbow anyways, because it's just a cheaper version of Xbow, and they do have Minor, whereas you don't, so they have a way of getting direct damage on the tower, and it's going to be pretty frustrating. Now, I don't want to go in right here with an Xbow, because I know he has Guards in Cycle, or we'll get to them pretty soon, and I'm going to need Log in Cycle if I want to take out Guards. So now I can go for an Xbow, go for Skeletons on the Miner, let it lock on, and then just go for Skeletons. And I'm going to go for a knight to predict either a Valkyrie or Archer Queen, as Archer Queen does come down. So going to be a really nice connection, and we're going to defend this Xbow with everything we can. So put an E-Spirit down as well. Fire Spirit comes down too, and we're going to get a really nice connection. So I think I'm actually just going to ignore this Archer Queen, because if I go for a log, I would get nice tower damage, but I would be down Elixir, and then he might go for a Mortar right away, might not be able to get a Tesla down right away, something like that. Going to go for an Xbow as he goes for a Mortar, and actually goes for a predictive Valk, which is going to be a pretty bad Valkyrie, considering I just went for an Xbow. And we get a knight down. He's going to go for a Miner. I'm going to go for a Tesla and then Fireball on both the Queen and the Mortar. And also notice how this is going to force his Queen's ability to come down earlier if he wanted to keep it alive. And so it looks like my opponent's actually going to give up. He's going to go for an Xbow. Now, there are people who fake give up, and we do want to be a bit careful of that, but I think I'm just going to try and take the 3 crown. For those of you that don't know, crowns are actually a very important factor in global tournaments for players that are aiming to finish top 1,000 or above, because the global tournament badges are tie-breaking, I don't know the exact word. I don't think tie-break is a formal word. Anyway, that's just some random thoughts, but anyway, the tiebreaker is going to be based on crowns. So, for example, 34 wins, 72 crowns is Nikoko at number 2. Number 3 is 34 wins, 46 crowns. So the player with more crowns is going to be up in ranking, even if 2 players have the same amount of wins. So that's why crowns are pretty important, and really nice that we were able to get a 3 crown there to help us out. Let's keep it going into the next match against Yatagarasu, looking like a Japanese player. So I think we will just cycle a log first play. With Xbow in general, okay, Ghost comes down. I'm going to go for a Tesla. I wish I had Knight and Cycle for this Ghost, or Skeletons, but I'm just going to go for a Tesla, since it's the next best thing, I would say. And I can just go for an E-Spirit, and the Ghost will get taken out by the Tesla. And this is looking like it's going to be P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam, most likely, because we do see the Ghost and Magic Archer. Could also just be a normal Bridgespam deck. Okay, Dark Prince comes down, so Dark Prince and Ghost is kind of unconventional. Usually they're kind of 2 cards that fulfill the same kind of role. Gonna go for Skeletons into my Knight, actually, to pull the Bandit in, so that it'll go. And since it is dashing, I'm gonna go for Archers too, since, as you saw, the Bandit did survive. If it walked over, I wouldn't have had to go for Archers, but I did recognize. And now he goes for an Archer Queen. Gonna go for an Xbow. And he goes for a Log as well, which I would say is quite a mistake. Yeah, because he just had an Archer Queen. He didn't need that Log, since Archer Queen was going to take out the archers anyways. Notice I'm just going to Fireball the Archer Queen. I don't want to mess around with it going for the ability and messing me up. And Ghost gets 1 hit on the tower. Maybe I could have gone E-Spirit to negate that. Maybe it would have been worth the 1 elixir, but I'm honestly okay not going for it either. It looks like we are going to be down about 3 elixir, since notice how I was at about 7 elixir when the Dark Prince came down, which means he probably cycled it at 10 elixir. So since I know I'm down elixir, I'm going to play a bit safer now. Going to go for a high Tesla. This is one way to take out magic archers without a fireball. You can just snipe them with a Tesla, and this Tesla will stay alive afterwards as well. So Bandit also gets the Tesla down, but we are still in a pretty good spot. And I'm going to go for a Log next, most likely. And I do want to save 1 between the Log and the E-Spirit in my hand, in case my opponent does have a Ram Rider or a Battle Ram. So I just want to save 1 card that can reset it. Gonna go for a Knight on the Archer Queen now. And then go for an E-Spirit, so that if the ability comes down, it would stun her and waste time. Looks like my opponent actually doesn't even play the ability in time, so kind of a mistake. But we're going to take that. Just going to Fireball the Magic Archer, not mess around with it. Skeletons for the Bandit charge, and then Log the Dark Prince. And okay, kind of got messed up by the Dark Prince jump there. Am I the only one who's still not really used to the new Prince's jumping? Because sometimes it kind of throws me off and also looks kind of funny. But anyways, going to reset with another Tesla. No point going in since he is clearly cycling cards in the right lane. So if I went in, I would just be playing into his cycling. Gonna Log the Archer Queen. Looks like my opponent really doesn't want to get value out of his Archer Queen ability for some reason. So Bandit comes down. Gonna have to cycle back to another Knight here, which I do just fine. Gonna again snipe the Magic Archer with a Tesla, but Dark Prince jump does throw me off, unfortunately. But Magic Archer's on one of the archers. I think I can just go for another pair of archers. And I could have maybe considered going for an Xbow there, but since I didn't do it instantly, I'd rather just play it safe again. I'm just taking some really nice value, fireballing all these Magic Archers and Archer Queens. Magic Archer comes down again. I'm going to snipe it with a Tesla. Notice this placement. I will be able to snipe the Magic Archer and then also have it DPS down the P.E.K.K.A afterwards. Going to go for Skeletons too, and Archers are doing a pretty good job. Bandits dashing in. Just going to go for a Knight, and I can go for an Xbow now because P.E.K.K.A's out of cycle, and I do have a Knight counter pushing. So I'm expecting to see an Archer Queen come down here. Okay, I was going to say I feel like I outcycled my opponent's Magic Archer, or sorry, P.E.K.K.A there. Looks like that wasn't the case, but my opponent was low on elixir in any case. So we were able to catch him off guard, and he didn't have enough elixir for a P.E.K.K.A in time. Pretty interesting P.E.K.K.A deck. I did not see any win conditions actually out of my opponent there. We are going to get a decent lightning chest. Always nice to get free rewards. And yeah, no win con. So instead of, well, it's weird, right? Because usually you'd expect one of the two between the Archer Queen and the Magic Archer. This person had both. But you'd also expect one of the two between the Royal Ghost and the Dark Prince. So it looks like my opponent made some replacements, I guess replacing the Ewas with the Archer Queen and the win condition with the Dark Prince. So no no Battle Ram or Ram Rider in that deck. Really easy matchup for Xbow because you didn't have any way of breaking through except Magic Archer chip damage, which I never really allowed. So moving on to the next match against a Korean player, gonna cycle E-Spirit at the bridge, and it is perfectly acceptable to cycle Electro Spirit in this deck because even though you're susceptible to giving your opponent an a King Tower activation, and wow, my opponent is spamming pretty hard, gonna go for a Fireball, I think. We'll hit the Archer Queen, take out most of the skeletons, plus Log wasn't in cycle, and as you can see, we got a really nice Fireball, taking everything out. So Archer Queen, Bandit, Skarmy is going to be the deck, and I actually don't really recognize this deck. Like, it doesn't look like any meta decks to me. Skarmy would not really be in the same deck as Bandit, in my experience, so going to be a bit of an off-meta deck, it seems. I'm just going to go for Skeletons for this Ewiz. I think I'll just split my Archers next, unless my opponent makes a play first. Alright, just going to split Archers. Splitting Archers with Xbow is a pretty safe play. He's going to go for a Mega Knight. He's going to go for an Xbow right away. That is 7 elixir in the back that my opponent doesn't have to defend. Going to go for an E-Spirit to reset this Inferno Dragon's beam a little bit, and hopefully DPS it down a bit. Going to go for a Knight, and then Log on the Mega Knight plus the Dark Goblin. And Archer's helping out as well, so this Mega Knight should be taken care of. Gonna go for Skeletons too, which will pull the Bandit in, and Bandit's gonna be dashing again. So it does dash to my other tower, but I'm honestly fine just taking that damage, because I got more damage than my opponent, and I don't want to mess my cycle up, or waste elixir. Especially because I think I just outcycled his Mega Knight, so I'm gonna go in. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna get punished quite hard for this, but yeah, I did outcycle his Mega Knight. It's gonna go E-Spirit for the Skarmy. I believe he's back to Mega Knight now, but he doesn't go for it, so I'm just gonna go Archers for the Ewiz. Archers are gonna be a great response to Ewiz, as you can see, since they are 2 units and they just DPS very efficiently, and that's actually basically going to be tower down. So really nice Xbow connection. Notice how I didn't exactly overcommit onto my first Xbow. I let it die, but my opponent kind of messed his own cycle up by not having Mega Knight in cycle for my second Xbow, which is why I was able to outcycle him and punish. Now I'm going to go for a Fireball. Don't really want to go for an Xbow since I have this whole push to defend, and I think that's going to be really great Fireball value on everything. So just going to take that, and look at that insane Fireball value. We took out basically everything, and I believe this Electro Spirit will chain onto the Queen as well, so perfect defense. Mega Knight at the bridge coming down, pretty desperation play. Gonna go for Skeletons, Tesla as well, and then Archers. And I kind of messed my Archers up, actually. I was trying to go for a King Tower activation, which is why I went for that pretty weird high Tesla there. So sort of messed up defense, but honestly it's still perfectly fine. Just gonna go for a Tesla for this Inferno, and we are doing very solid. So yeah, for that Mega Knight activation, if I played my Archers 1 tile lower, it actually would have activated King. So just a small misplacement by me. Not a big deal at all, because we still didn't take any damage whatsoever. And really nice win against an interesting, looking like an off-meta sort of Mega Knight deck, if I can just tap my activity log here. There we go. Yeah, and not even a big spell either. So if things weren't going well, if I just went for Xbows and I wasn't breaking through, another game plan in that matchup could have also just been to go defensive Xbow, since my opponent doesn't have any answers to a defensive Xbow in his deck. Then I could have used the momentum from there to keep going and pressured with an offensive Xbow afterwards. But really nice win. let's keep it going. And we are finding matches really quickly, which is nice. And also, no Earthquake so far, which is also nice, but I might be cursing myself since we'll see if we face it now. But, okay, and I swear if I just like brought that to life by mentioning it, that would have been really sad. But we do see Royal Hogs, and if you are kind of acquainted with the current meta right now, Royal Hogs Earthquake is one of the best decks in the entire game, and it's looking like it's going to be the case here. So, very bad matchup. One of the worst matchups for Xbow in the entire game right now. We're going to see what we can do about it. Fireball this Archer Queen back, and that's just going to be one of the best ways to deal with an Archer Queen. If my opponent went for the ability there, it would have been really just fine, because the Queen was nerfed as well, so yeah, not a big deal at all. Gonna go for a low Tesla this time to hopefully bait out an Earthquake as it does come down. I'm just gonna go for Skeletons, and okay, looks like I messed up my Skeletons. I'm gonna take a lot of damage here, so that's my bad, but I'm gonna take this damage so I can make an Xbow initiative happen. So I'm gonna go for an Xbow and Knight. Knight because I want to predict his Queen or his Cannon coming down, since Royal Hogs are out of cycle. So I'm gonna go for a Knight to predict. Skeletons comes down. And yeah, my opponent just didn't have anything in hand, like I said, so it was a really good Xbow punishment. Gonna log this Queen back to try and get an even bigger connection. And now we're gonna have to be careful about another push. Not gonna Fireball this Queen because, yeah, pigs were coming in, so just gonna Fireball the Royal Hogs instead. Go Skeletons, and it looks like my opponent messed up his Queen ability, but I would have been fine taking all of that because my tower on the right side is way healthier than my left side tower. As you can see, left side tower is all the way down to 1400, so it would have been fine to take even 1000 damage in the right. But yeah, we're in a winning position now because I went for that lower Tesla earlier to bait out Earthquake. I actually learned that play from Betfis. I was analyzing his gameplay yesterday as for my video, for those of you that didn't watch. And it was really good gameplay, and he beat this matchup. So, gonna go for a Tesla. Notice this Tesla placement is gonna be the anti-Earthquake placement. So, notice how my opponent's going for Earthquakes, and is not able to hit both my Tesla and the tower. So, gonna go Skeletons to predict the Archer Queen, then go for a Knight in front to tank. And Xbow is going to be on the Archer Queen. Going to go for an E-Spirit as well. And Earthquake is going to be forced out, so we get a small connection, and we force out the Earthquake. It's going to be a great position now. Going to go for an Xbow again, but wait till I get a little bit more Elixir. So if Royal Hogs does come down on the Xbow, I can just Fireball them. Yep, so exactly like I said. Just going to Fireball them, and then go for Archers for either the Cannon or the Archer Queen, and we get a connection. So, really nice connection, punishing my opponent for having kind of an awkward cycle. I believe he wasted his Earthquake as well. So pigs come down, just going to go for an anti-Earthquake Tesla again. Skeletons on the one Royal Hog that kind of bypass the Tesla. E-Spirit to make sure the Fire Spirit doesn't splash onto my tower, and we are back to another Fireball, and that's going to be a win. It's actually kind of funny how I kind of spoke it to life by saying we haven't played against Earthquake or that dreaded Royal Hogs Earthquake deck the entire video, and then of course I get it the very next match, but I was able to win, so terrible matchup for sure, but against kind of less experienced players. Like my opponent here is not going to be the best player, no offense to him, but like someone like Mugi would never lose this matchup against Xbow, so just know that it's not all hope isn't lost if you play against this matchup. Like, even if you see it, don't just give up. You can always play and try and win, as I did there. And I was able to get the win against basically an impossible matchup because my opponent kind of messed up quite a few times. And yeah, really nice win. So 14-0 now. Let's go for one more for the flawless 15-0 in the global tournament. So into the next match against a Chinese player. Gonna go E-Spirit at the bridge again. If they activate King off the E-Spirit, it's not going to be a big deal at all. Dark Prince comes down, just going to go for a Knight and see what my opponent wants to play. So Dark Prince could be a lot of things. I really hope it's not going to be Giant Double Prince or Giant Graveyard. I really hope it's not going to be a Giant deck. I basically hope it's going to be a Bridgespam deck, but we'll find out. Dark Prince could be a lot of things. Ewiz does make me believe it's either going to be... Okay, and oh my god, it looks like it's going to be Giant Double Prince. This is kind of a sad moment because I just played against Royal Hogs Earthquake. Now I'm playing against Giant Double Prince, one of the other worst matchups in the game for Xbow right now, at least in my opinion. So not looking too great. Let's see if my opponent goes for a Miner with this Mega Minion. Looks like he doesn't. So we're going to be going opposite lane to my opponent. And Giant comes down, so I'm actually going to go for an Xbow. No idea why that Giant came down, because he needs a Giant against the Xbow. And wow, he is just going to sack the entire Xbow. It looks like, okay, he's going to go for an Ewa. He's just going to let the Xbow die. I absolutely should not be overcommitting to my Xbow, considering I have a full health giant and minor push coming in. Just going to go for low archers, separated from my Tesla, so if my opponent chooses to zap, he won't be able to zap everything. And going to go for skeletons now to surround the Dark Prince. You can surround a Dark Prince, believe it or not, with skeletons, even if it seems like you can't because of the splash, but you have to have the Dark Prince in the walking animation, not the running, or not the dashing. Sorry, charging. It took me 3 tries to reach that word, but we were able to do it. And so Prince is coming down. I think I'm just going to go for a low E-Spirit. I think my opponent's going to be back to a Giant here. Yep, exactly. So going to go for a Knight, Archers again, and see if I can get back to Skeletons. He is going to Fireball, and it looks like he does miss my Archers, which is going to be great. So Archer's going to be able to take out the Giant. He did just go for a Giant Prince Fireball push, so he didn't cycle very efficiently. He's not going to be back to his Giant anytime soon. Going to go for an Xbow. He's at least 2 cards away from Giant right now. Ewas comes down. Going to go for a Log and Fireball on the Ewas Dark Prince. Again, Fireball's out of cycle for my opponent. So we got a connection because he just went Giant Prince Fireball, a really terrible play. And he's actually going to ignore this entire Xbow. I don't know what's going on with my opponent's decision making right now, because this is not what I would expect from a good Giant Double Prince player. But I'm going to go Skeletons to stop the Prince charge. We'll go for low Archers. Again, notice how I'm separating my Archers from the rest of my push. And then I'm going to go for a Log on this Miner. And Skeletons for the Prince, and we're actually going to walk away with the win against Giant Double Prince. So I'm going to give him the Global Tourney emote because this is, again, a terrible matchup. So just going to troll him a little bit here. Pull everything to the opposite lane with an Xbow, just because, you know, it's the last 5 seconds. You can afford to stall out, and that's going to be a good game. So terrible matchup, but my opponent made some terrible plays as well. Again, no offense to him. I don't have anything against my opponent. In fact, I'm actually pretty grateful for the way he played because I was able to beat a terrible matchup. Because of that, he just cycled a Giant in the back for no reason and then went Giant, Prince, and Fireball. Like, if he's going for a Giant push, he should at least save Fireball so that if I go for an Xbow, he can always Fireball it as a last resort. Because that's going to be such a terrible matchup, actually. Like, both of these are really hard matchups. But as you can see, I was able to beat both of them. So, really happy with my performance in the Global Tournament. We did get some easier matchups to start out. Mortar's going to be a bad matchup, but my opponent played pretty badly. We were able to win right at the start. These two are going to be pretty much free matchups, I would say, which do kind of counterbalance the 2 hard counters. But yeah, we were able to beat a lot of hard matchups. And again, I would say Xbow is a deck that can punish really any mistakes. So my opponents both made quite a lot of mistakes in these 2 matches, and I was able to beat them. So going to be off to a great start in the Global Tournament. 15-0, unlocked all the rewards with a flawless start as well. Probably going to be pushing on my other account and probably a few of my other accounts next. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Early Global Tournament again, just going for it. And also let me know if you would like to see a part 2 where I go for maybe 20 wins from this position. Because some people did request for that last time, and I really wouldn't mind doing it, honestly. Like, it's not a big deal for me. It's just that I do have a lot of content I still want to get out. I have my 8,000 trophy ladder push with Xbow from last season I still need to work on. And I do also have a bunch of other videos that I won't mention in the works. But yeah, going to get this out as early as I can in the Royal Tournament. Got my first opportunity to play it today, and we were able to win really nice games. So hopefully I was able to help you guys out with these matchups as well, and just general Global Tournament tips. You do have to be prepared for these off-meta decks, but Xbow is a deck that can handle it very well, and you don't need Archer Queen. Like, I was able to beat these with Archers, so it is winnable. Just gotta hold out hope and believe in yourself. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, let me know what you thought about it, and I will see you in the next video.